freelancers, it's your pricing queen Jazz here, and welcome to the Creative Business Kitchen, where ambitious freelancers go to build a business that feeds their passion as well as filling their back pocket. Today we are talking how to accurately charge for those larger scale design projects that often involve manual labor and massive canvases. So if this whets your appetite, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and prepare to feast on all things to help you find your own flavor of freelance success. Let's dig in. Now, creating artwork at large scale is no small task. You may be thinking it's just a bigger canvas. How is it different? Well, it is. I love a large scale creation. Anything that feels larger than life, let me at it. Whether it's painted, digital, with chalk or house paints, there's something about a large wall or a space that pushes my creativity into overdrive. So you're probably wondering, how do you work out pricing at such a large scale? Just like there is more than one way to create any masterpiece, there's absolutely more than one way to price a large scale piece. The things that define which way you price will be based on your experience level, your familiarity with the work itself, and then also the overall size of the piece itself. Generally, any design created at scale, the overall fee is made up of two parts: the design fee and then the installation fee. So let's start with the design fee first. The design fee is a flat rate charged to the client for the overall design of the mural, signage, or the piece that is being created or reproduced at scale. Whilst this can be simple as mapping out how high or how large a logo needs to be created at, or as complicated as creating a design that wraps around a staircase or up a lift shaft, yes, I've been there. That is the time that you need to account for in your quote. The design fee is often delivered as a once-off single cost and is loosely based around the time it is expected to take, multiplied by your hourly rate, and delivered as a single cost. Then you have the installation fee. So the installation of the large-scale work is a whole other kettle of fish. Although, why would you store your fish in a kettle? I've got no idea. Understanding how to install a piece at scale is an incredibly valuable skill, one that should be paid for well. Now, I'm going to be honest with you right here and right now. You will underquote your first large-scale piece. You just will. My first mural that I ever created, I will never forget. The project was to create a large scale of the words "best day ever" on a residential wall. One color, nice and simple. It was going to be an off-white piece of lettering on a mint green background. One color, that's it. It's something that could be achieved in a day. Hell, these days I would achieve it in an afternoon or a couple of hours. I made so many mistakes on that first mural, from using a pounce pattern that didn't pounce and chalk dust that went everywhere. And then I sketched it based on the printed pattern that I attached to the wall. I used blue signwriter's pencil thinking that it would be best for removal, but then it bled into the white paint, so I had to do more coats than I had actually planned. This mural took me a full day, much longer than anticipated. Hell, I was there when the kids were having their bath time, and I had started that morning. I charged $1,200 for that mural. And while that isn't anything to be sneezed at, if I had been charging it based on the time it actually took, I'm pretty sure it would have been double, if not more. So you've heard my woes and you're probably wondering, so how do I calculate an installation fee then? So calculating an installation fee is somewhat of a personal preference for creatives. For example, there are some creatives that choose to price per hour it takes them to create the mural or large-scale piece. This is generally delivered as a project rate, but the way it's calculated is different. So they would calculate it on a time times hourly rate plus materials and a markup, and that's their mural fee. This works well for some people, especially if they know how long things are going to take. And sometimes you might put a buffer on, say 20% on top of that cost to cover the time things might go wrong or when you might underestimate. This approach relies on you knowing how long things will take you, and it may be more suited to a creative who has done the same sort of work before. If they underestimate time, that can end up with a less profitable project. And if they overestimate time, that's simply a reward for an efficient execution. But a balance needs to be reached to make sure that you aren't wildly expensive for no reason. Now, on the flip side, there are some others that prefer to price based on size and area coverage. Again, this is generally delivered as a project rate, but the way that it's calculated is different again. So that might be based on size, so whether that's meters square or square foot, times by complexity rate, plus materials and markup is the mural fee. This equation is based on a complexity per square meter or per square foot. You wouldn't charge a simple one color lettering job the same per square meter or square foot as a full color, full coverage piece. They have different levels of requirement, different levels of effort, energy, and skill to bring them to life. Now, personally for me, I cost out a mural the second way, with the size and complexity guiding the price. I have them in tiers, with simple options being cheaper per square meter and the more complex ones being more expensive per square meter. This gives me a guide to price from, but still deliver the overall project fee as a project rate. So on my website, I have a particular page that I send all my mural projects to, and this is how I lay out the pricing table. So you can see the smallest, the medium, and the largest, and that kind of dictates how my clients understand the complexity of what I'm bringing to them, and then they can adjust their expectations accordingly. So what classifies as large-scale work? Anything that is needing a design phase and an installation phase that requires a wall, a large canvas, or a board of some sort, to me can be considered as large-scale work. To be clear, I'm talking more of the hand-painted or hand-created side of things rather than being printed. Cool. Now, I've personally priced an 80 square meter mural this way, as well as multiple series of signage and wayfinding items, chalkboards for weddings, and window displays. The important thing to remember here isn't that it isn't just a pretty picture, it has a purpose, and that purpose has value and therefore needs to be charged accordingly. So what if the client doesn't want me to install it, or I don't have the skills yet to install it? Now, this can absolutely happen, but I don't want you to fret. You can simply provide a project fee for the design side of the job, but also take into account that the piece is going to be produced at scale. So therefore, it might be a higher value than something small. There are also creatives that just do the other side of the job. They only install. So you may want to partner up with them and have a mutually beneficial partnership. This might help when, say, for instance, you're creating something that you're not in the same state or country as. So for this calculation, for large scale pricing calculation, you would have your design fee, your installation fee, and then the expenses for the job plus a markup. So this is the total project cost delivered as a whole number. And you may want to adjust it based on value that you're bringing, the size of the company or client, and the value of the outcome. Costing up your first large-scale project will feel overwhelming. It's normal. The thing to keep in mind here is that you deserve to be paid for all of the parts of the job if you are doing them. But the feeling of standing in front of something massive and something that you've created, yeah, that right there is priceless. Order up! That's a wrap on today's video, my fellow culinary creative. I hope I've given you some food for thought when it comes to how to charge a large scale or signage project and finding your own flavor of success within that. Now let's keep this feast a feastin'. Head over to creativebusinesskitchen.com to feast on even more resources and tools to help you grow a profitable freelance business. From creative calculators to gourmet guides, from finding hungry clients to charging with confidence as a creative. I serve up everything you need to cook up a storm of profit and passion in your creative business. See you in the kitchen. Now go get a snack. You have totally earned it.